Welcome back, my friend. My name is Kris Krohn, and today I'm going to share with you the best book for rocking it in the world of real estate today. When I was young and in college, I had the opportunity to study with some fantastic mentors, and all that started with books. And there's a lot that you can garner from a book. I'm going to share 2 book resources with you today. One of them I'm going to give you absolutely for free at the end of this video, but I want you to understand more of what makes it such a great book. When I started the game of real estate investing, I started reading books, all sorts of books that I could find on real estate from mentors, from Rich Dad Poor Dad and Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and just multiple streams of income, and Robert Allen's real estate book. And then I would also do their audio programs and programs they would sell for $500, for $1,000. And I went through all these programs. And then it came time to actually become an investor and do my first deal. I was with one of my mentors and I was consulting on everything that I'd read in my books. And one thing I couldn't quite get straight is they all had a little bit of a different philosophy of like, well, you make money in real estate doing tax liens, or you make money doing flipping, or you make money with buy and holds. And I asked my mentors, which strategy is best? And they couldn't give me a straight answer. And I thought, well, if I do this deal, what about that? And they said, well, they're both good. It just, if the numbers line up. I was mentoring with people that said, well, there's a lot of ways to get to Rome, but that bothered me. I said, there has to be a best way to get to Rome. There has to be a best way to make money. And they said, well, Kris, that would be really subjective. You would have to have specific criteria and then put a complex algorithm together and then put all of the strategies into a bucket and swim through all of them and mathematically figure out which is best. And I said, that's a great idea. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I never had to write a thesis in college for getting an MBA or for anything else. And while I never could be a doctor because I stunk at chemistry, I was fantastic at math and numbers. In fact, in my stats class, even though I was dumb as a doornail on chemistry, like literally on my second semester of retaking the course, I got a lower grade after hiring a tutor. Kid you not. But in statistics, I was worried because it was a weeder class. I never did my homework. I would show up in class and I hardly had to add any focus. And out of 200 kids in the class, they graded the whole curve on me. I got like 107% or something like that in the class. So here's what I did. I took my mentor's advice. I said, okay, I need to know, for best strategy, you'd have to know your criteria. And one of the 2 books I wrote is based on this. That's why I'm sharing this with you. And then I want to show you how you can get this other book completely for free that will get you jump started right now. The criteria I came up with said, well, number 1, it's got to make money. So it's got to be profitable. But that can't be the only criteria, because you can technically make profits on different deals, but some of them are riskier than others. So I said, well, fine. Then it would also have to have the least risk. I would want to balance profit to risk. That makes sense, right? But then I learned that some real estate strategies were like full-time and demanding, and some were passive and easy. So I said, well, then the best strategy would also have to take, relatively speaking, the least time. And then my mentor said, yeah, but Kris, some things are hard to do and some things are easy to do. So then I said, okay, the best strategy would also have to have the least effort. Now, just check out this list for a moment, because I was so eager to put this into my algorithm. Are you kidding me? Most profitable, least risk, least time, least effort. Like, I wanted to know, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a flip? Is it going to be like apartment buildings? Like, oh my gosh, what's it? Like, I was getting so jazzed, but I wasn't done yet. You see, in real estate, the market goes up and down. Sometimes you can make lots of money when the market goes up, but you can what? You can lose money when the market goes down. So another strategy is that it had to actually work with the markets. It needed to have very low market risk. And then I did not want to be an ambulance chaser. I wanted to do something that would create value for people. I wanted to do something that would create something useful for people. And that's when I decided that I needed one more final criteria. Which strategy would actually create the most benefit for somebody else that I'm engaging in? What would create the most service? What would be the most useful? So I added a service component because I wanted to be involved with something that created benefit for people, didn't take advantage of people. This, my friends, this was my 6 criteria that I based my original hypothesis on 15 years ago. I built an algorithm. I dumped in literally all 30 of the top real estate strategies, and the best strategy emerged. I wrote a book about it. I based my portfolio on it. And 4.5 years later, I was retired the same year I graduated college. Now, that book is called The Strait Path to Real Estate Wealth. And if you go to kriskrohn.com, you can get that book. It's an audio book. It's also, I did something kind of cool when I recorded the audio. I didn't do it verbatim. I brought guests on the show and we had dialogues and conversations in addition. So I did an audio book. I've got the ebook, for your Kindles, and then I've got the actual physical hardcover book. This book has made people millions and millions and millions and millions and just countless millions of dollars. In fact, right now it's led to $1 billion in real estate and over $100 million in profits. It's not a small amount. So the strategy is really, really good, and it's all on what is the best strategy. Now I'm just gonna cut to the chase and just kind of give you the spoiler alert. The best strategy ends up being a hybrid of flipping and a type of rental called a lease option. I call it my straight path system. And the best deal that emerged was basically buying single family homes beneath the median at a certain equity position at a certain ROI, held for short-term buy and hold on a lease option, sold for max profit, while creating an incredible service. Works in up markets, down markets, is freaking unbelievable. Now, that was a mouthful. I hope that didn't just go right over your head, but that's why I wrote a book, so that you can read the book. But I promised you a free book today, because the best real estate book that actually, that's a long book, that's like 200 pages. The best book that I can give you is what I call the ultimate real estate game plan. And I want to tell you what it is and why I'm going to give it to you for free. What I did is I decided to write a very, very, very short book that I could pack with the most intense information that says no matter whether you're rich, poor, or anywhere in between, you can become financially free through real estate, and this is how you would do it. And what it does is it shares with you the 4 steps of how you build wealth into real estate. But what it also does is it says it'll take into account whether you got money or you got no money. It'll share no money down acquisition strategies. It'll share with you what you do if you do have money, alternatives to 401ks, IRAs. It's a very, very short book, but it's designed to basically help you figure out exactly where you're at. And if you want to become a millionaire in real estate, what is the shortest path to making that happen? Now, if you want to get your hands on that book, you can have it 100% absolutely for free. It's a gift from me to you, no strings attached. All you got to do is go to the link in the description below, go ahead and put in your email, download the book, read it, and then get cranking on real estate.